A very good noon to all of you. I welcome you to this session, MAH CET 100 Most Expected Questions. This is the part 6 of this session, okay, of this series. So, in case you haven't seen the first 5 parts, I would suggest that you go through them. In those 5 parts, we've covered vocabulary, grammar, parajumbles. We've also covered some, sets of closed tests, etc. So go through that. Go through that portion. If you haven't covered it, you will be exposed to quite a few grammar and vocabulary questions in particular, right? What we are going to do is something that we do in this series, right? We look at some probable question types, we see how to approach them, right? So that we make fewer mistakes in the exam. So today my focus will be more on the verbal reasoning part, right? Parajumbles, then some questions such as course of action, statement assumption, statement conclusion. We'll look at one question of each type, right? So here's a parajumble question in front of your screens. It's a 4-sentence parajumble if you see carefully. And first and the last sentence, they are fixed in their correct position. So you need not arrange them. You just have to arrange the middle 4, right? So let's see what you say here. Okay, let's begin. Oh, Aarti has already answered. Good. Others? Let's see. Mohan says D. Okay. Om C. All right. Riya D. Agrima D. Disha D. Akash C. Okay. Others? Yash D. Poonam D. So, in addition to grammar-based clues, you have to understand the theme also, what is being talked about also, isn't it? So I've got C's and D's so far. Anybody who differs? Anybody who has another sequence to give me? All right, let's have a look what the answer should be. So, the first sentence is cashless economies, as the name suggests, are those that run mostly on plastic or digital money and thus with minimal cash or money in paper form. So, this is a definition of sorts, and we know that we are going to talk about cashless economies from now on, right? Now, I can clearly see, so even before reading it completely, I can see some clues here, right? So this is a concluding sentence. And okay, let me check what it says because 1 and 6 are in their correct position. Thus, because of the multiplying effects of the benefits, many developing economies are adopting the cashless approach and are going digital. So it's highly likely that before this sentence, I talk about some benefits, isn't it? Okay. Also, if you look at Q, it says, but it is not just the easiest way to transact, but also brings. That means before this, I have talked about some other benefit. And what is that benefit? That it is a convenient way to transact. It is an easy way to transact. So, just because of this written here, this is a very big clue for me that S should come before Q. S should come before Q. So these two get eliminated. This gets eliminated. The choice is between C and E. Okay. And those who've marked C, absolutely correct. That is the answer. Okay. Why? Why is that the answer? Because if you look at SQ, they should come immediately before 6, right? Because I'm talking about the benefits in the concluding part also. So SQ should come here. Okay, it's a pair. Then RP is also a pair. How? See, I talk about the fact, okay, what a cashless economy is, where there's minimal use of cash. Now, this is possible in mostly those countries where there is greater financial literacy and citizens are aware of the benefits of going cashless. So, this going cashless is possible in those countries only. Now, if you see, it says a very important factor in the running of such an economy. So, those countries, okay, those countries where there is financial literacy. So, a very important factor in the running of such an economy is the confidence, because people are literate, because they are aware, they have confidence in the fact that their money is safe in the banks. So, they are confident that their money is safe. Okay. Also, when they are confident, when they are literate, it is much more convenient to go cashless, right? So that's how we'll connect R, P, S, Q as dots. Okay. R and P are connected. When you are aware, when you are literate, you will be confident. So they are thematically connected that way. P and S are connected that, okay, first you have confidence that your money is safe, plus you find convenience in it. So right from here, we begin the discussion of benefits of going cashless, right? So I hope this makes sense to you. Why C is the answer, and excellent those who said C. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so this was a four sentence parajumble with options, the kind that came last year, right? Now, before that, you also had this question type, which I call the odd sentence parajumble, because here five sentences are given to you, and one of them does not fit into the theme of the paragraph, the rest of the paragraph. You have to identify that one odd sentence out. So these are your options here, right? So tell me, which is the odd one out here? Let's see what you say. I've got A, C. What else? Okay. A lot of C's in the chat box. A, all right. So in case some part is getting hidden by my hand, it's doctors, generic drugs by doctors. Okay. So if I'm reading your messages right, okay, if they're up to date, a lot of you think C is the odd one out. Some of you think A is the odd one out. Am I correct here? Hmm. So what is your basis for saying C? Okay. I think E and C make for a good pair. See, whenever I have such a structure, no doubt this is good. Okay, no doubt. You can see this no doubt here. It will be followed by a but. When you say no doubt this is good, but, so you are about to contradict it when you say no doubt. Similarly, when you say sure, this is a good move, surely this is a good move, then again you are going to contradict it using a but. Okay, so E and C make for a pair. I don't see why you feel that C should be the odd one out. If you see, we are talking about a policy. I can realize this from these sentences that we are talking about a policy here, a national medicine pricing policy, right? So bringing in a national medicine pricing policy would be a simple but very effective way in controlling drug prices without taking away the choice of prescription from doctors. Okay. Now, the policy to implement legislation for the prescription of generic drugs by doctors is a good move, no doubt. But the haste shown by the government in bringing this policy is odd and populist. Right? Now, if you look at A and B, this is what we are left with. See, this talks about a policy, this talks about a policy, and this talks about a policy. We are left with A and B. Tell me which one is more related to a policy, which one is just a definition of sorts. Yes. Hmm. So, if we look at this, generic drugs are the cheap knockoffs that help more people around the world gain access to innovative and sometimes life saving treatments made by companies you've never heard of and sold in plain bottles with little fanfare. This looks like a description of generic drugs, whereas B looks like a suggestion. It is extremely important to reduce the burden of health related costs on common people. Right? We are talking about this, no, national medicine pricing policy. We are trying to reduce the cost of drugs, right? We are trying to control drug prices here. Now, but instead of jumping the gun on generic medicines, alternative methods to reduce costs, improving quality of drugs should be given priority. So this appears more related to this discussion as compared to A, which just talks about what generic drugs are. And that is why it is A that is the odd one out. You get it? So this is what will be my answer. A. All of these are talking about a policy and the author's view that probably this policy has been released, has been launched in a lot of haste. Okay. And then the author gives his or her suggestion towards the end that, alternative methods should also be looked at. Okay. Hope this is clear to everyone. So Rohan is asking right at the beginning of the lecture. This is the beginning of the lecture. Okay. So please have patience. At least you'll be with me till 12:50. Okay. At least till 12:50. All right. Cause effect. Let's have a look at this. This is a question type that comes under verbal reasoning. Now, sometimes you get these questions right in the logical reasoning segment, right? Now, statement 1 and statement 2, these two statements are given to you. You have to tell me, are they related to each other? And if they are related, do they have a cause effect relationship? That is what you have to tell me. Is one the cause, two the effect? Is statement 2 the cause, one the effect? Are they independent causes? See, this is rarely the answer. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why after you attempt this question. D says that they are effects of independent causes, meaning that these statements are not related to each other. This simply means that they are independent statements. They are not related to each other. Okay. And he says that both the statements are effects of some common cause. There is some common cause behind them, which is, there is a common cause which is resulting in effect 1 also and effect 2 also. That is what option E means. So let me see what you mark here. All right. B, okay. E. Sure, Rahul. Okay. All right. What is the rate of inflation? What do we mean by inflation? Inflation refers to a change, right? An increase in the prices of goods and services that are produced in an economy. And usually we take a set basket of goods and services for calculating inflation. So if the prices of goods and services increases, then the inflation goes up. So inflation is, the rate of inflation is an effect of how the prices in your economy are moving, right? So if the prices go up, then inflation goes up, right? If the prices go down, then inflation goes down. So how are you saying that 2 is the cause and 1 is the effect? Yes. Mehengai, correct. All right, Pawan. So, uh, tell me, how is 2 the cause? 2 can at best be an effect. It cannot be a cause because inflation is the result of how the prices in your economy move. B cannot be the answer. I think you are missing out something very important here. So in such questions, it's important that you read each and every word. You don't skip any word. The government has reduced the prices of petroleum products by 5% a week after increasing the prices by 10%. Okay, so just 1 week later, it has reduced the prices by 5%. Okay. Now, second says the rate of inflation dropped marginally during the last week. So we are talking about the last week here, and here we seem to be talking about the present week. Are they related then? Yes. Here we are talking about last week, and we are talking about inflation last week. Whereas here we are talking about a drop this week. So they are not related. They are effects of independent causes. D, Delhi is the answer. Nobody said D. Yes, because whatever happened to inflation last week, it how does it have a bearing on the government's reducing the prices this week? As I said, inflation is the effect. Inflation is not the cause, right? So you cannot say that two is the cause and that's why one has happened. No. Okay. So we are talking about inflation last week and something, the reduction in petroleum prices this week. This has probably been caused by something else altogether. Okay. And the rate of inflation dropped because of something else altogether, because last week we increased prices. So ideally it shouldn't have dropped. So there is perhaps some other cause behind its dropping, right? So they are effects of independent causes. E also will not be the answer. Okay, that's why I'm explaining this further. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everyone. And as I said, that this C is rarely the answer. I'm glad nobody marked this. Both the statements are independent causes. This is very difficult to determine, it is, so for instance, when two statements are related to each other, you can easily determine, okay, which is the cause, which is the effect. In that case, it is easy to determine. But when two statements are independent, you cannot categorize them as causes unless there are some very specific words, such as the reason is, okay. So unless there are some very specific keywords to show that, okay, this is in the nature of a cause. Okay, so that is why this is rarely the answer. Because when two statements are unrelated, it's very difficult to say that they are in the nature of causes, unless you have some specific keywords to show that. Okay. No, Om. So just talking about prices does not mean that there has to be a common cause. Okay. So please keep this in mind that we don't have to look at it at a very superficial level, that just because prices are being discussed, so there must be a common cause. I can discuss about prices can move, prices of different commodities can move because of different reasons. Right? All right. Let's go to the next question, statement assumption. Now, here a statement is given to you. Now, three assumptions. It is followed by three assumptions. So, what are assumptions? A statement that is necessarily true for this statement to hold, for this statement to be valid. So which of these must be necessarily true for this statement to be valid from the viewpoint of Ravi? Okay, assumptions are always seen from the point of view of the major actor in the statement. So Ravi ने क्या necessarily सोचा होगा? What is it that in Ravi's mind is necessarily true for him to take this decision? Tell me. Yes. Okay, C, all right. Okay, A, one A I've got. So one is definitely implicit, yes? Statement one is definitely implicit. The railway issues reservations 2 months in advance. This is something that Ravi definitely thinks in order to be able to take this decision, right? How about three? Let's check three once. There will be vacancy. Definitely Ravi thinks that. That is why he decided to get a railway reservation in May. But there will be vacancy in the desired class. Yes. Is this a necessary thought on the part of Ravi? On the part of Ravi in order to make this decision? That there has to be a vacancy in the desired class. There will be vacancy. That is something that Ravi thinks for sure. That is why he is decided, no, to get a reservation. But In the desired class, we can't be sure about it. That Ravi thought that मेरी class में तो मिलेगी ही मिलेगी. On the basis of that, he has taken this decision. As long as there is a vacancy, Ravi can very well take this decision. This is not necessary. And that is why C is not the answer, it is A. Okay? I hope this makes sense to you. All right. Advanced reservation is true, but desired class is not necessarily true. And okay, one student asked this earlier, what is the difference between independent causes and common causes? A good question. Let me give you an example of when there will be a common cause. See this. So if I state, let's say that bird flu has spread in China, killing 5 people. Okay. Now, I say this in statement 2, India has completely banned the import of poultry. I hope this is visible to you, whatever I'm writing. Let me just check if it's visible. No, it's not. Sorry. Statement 2 says, India has banned the import of poultry, completely banned the import of poultry. Okay. So now see this. Although statement 1 is also talking about bird flu, and here also we are talking about import of poultry, right? But it has just spread in China, one country, and again, it's not that it has reached disproportionate. It has still not reached the state of an epidemic. If you look at it, it has killed 5 people. So this action seems a little extreme in the light of statement 1. Statement 2 seems a little extreme, doesn't it? Right. So that means there must be some other justification, right? So one common cause, one possible reason is that, okay, bird flu is spreading perhaps in, let's say, Southeast Asia, in a wider region. If it is spreading in Southeast Asia, in a wider region, then it's quite, the effect can be that, okay, it spreads in China and kills people. And this will then justify the complete ban on the import of poultry, right? Because it is spreading in an entire region and not just in one country. You get it? So this here is an example of a common cause being shared by these two statements. Right? Independent causes when they have separate causes. Iska cause alag hai, iska cause alag hai. Right? That is independent causes. Okay. All right. Prajwal, we don't know whether he is booking for the desired class in advance or not. We just know that he decided to get a railway reservation in May. Right? That's what he decided to get. So maybe, let's say there's a lot of rush. He is afraid that if he does not get in May, if he does not get a reservation in May, then once May ends, there will be no seat left. Okay. So he just wants to grab a seat, right? And that's why he's making a reservation in May. So then is this thought necessary that there will be vacancy in the desired class? No. The only thought that is necessary is there will be vacancy. That is why he has made this decision. Right? So it is because of the desired class part that we eliminate it. Okay. He would reserve a seat in advance if he is getting a vacancy. Right? He would. What is the purpose? Okay. He wants to undertake this journey. Right? So for undertaking this journey, is it necessary that you travel in your desired class? No, right? It's not necessary that you travel in your desired class. So that's why I hope now it is clear, Agrima, why 3 is not implicit. Okay, coming to the next question, statement conclusion. So a statement is given to you. Here are 2 conclusions that it is followed by. You have to tell me which one is actually a valid conclusion, which one follows, which one does not. Yes, and if both follow, then C. If neither follow, then D. Let's see what you say. XYZ for the previous question, for 3 to be implicit, the main statement should also have these words that he decided to get a reservation in May so that he can get a reservation in his desired class. If I mention that, then 3 is implicit. Okay, so desired class should be talked about in the main statement. A, E, all right. D, okay, I've got D also. Neither follows. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So now this is an idiom. Okay, this question came in one of your previous years, right? That's why I gave it to you. We should know the meaning of this idiom in order to be able to attempt this question. So when I say beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, it means that uh, it is your way of looking, your viewpoint that makes something beautiful for you or doesn't. That's the meaning. So that means one can definitely be concluded that beauty is subjective because it depends on your viewpoint, right? The way you look at something, right? So beauty is subjective can definitely be concluded. But the fact that many people do not understand beauty, this is not something that I can conclude, that I can infer from my statement. Many people not understanding beauty. It was not about comprehension anyway. It was about perception. Okay. So 2 cannot be the answer, right? 1 on the other hand follows. So all the others get eliminated. A is our answer. Right? I hope this is clear. Thank you, Shivam. Thank you. Right. Good question, Mansi. So when can we use the either or option? When the two are mutually exclusive and exhaustive. Okay. What do I mean by that? So this is a mathematical term, a set theory term. So if let's say, if either or means that if one is not true, that individually neither follows. Okay. Individually तो दोनों follow नहीं करते. But in case one नहीं follow करता है, then in case I know this already in advance, then 2 must follow. And in case 2 does not follow and I know it, then 1 will definitely follow. Right? So, very rarely do you get such questions where the answer is going to be either 1 or 2 because then you need to frame the conclusions in such a way that they are mutually exclusive. One excludes the other, right? And they are exhaustive also. That is, that between them they cover all possibilities, right? So, it is that sort of a question. In syllogism, you have some questions when, let's say, one of the conclusions says, uh, some A are B, and one of the conclusions says no A are B, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say I say this. Some A is B, okay? Some A is B, right? And then I say that some B is C. Okay, so these are my statements. Some A is B and some B is C. So now, what is the possibility? या तो CA को intersect करेगा या CA को intersect नहीं करेगा. So there's a possibility that some A are C and there's a possibility that no A are C. Right? So these kind of conclusions, individually neither of them follows, but अगर ये ट्रू नहीं है तो ये डेफिनेटली ट्रू होगा, अगर ये ट्रू नहीं है तो ये डेफिनेटली ट्रू होगा. सो दिस इज आइदर और सिनारियो, राइट? इन केस you do not understand this, just go through syllogism once, right? And I think this either or scenario will be perfectly clear to you. Okay? I hope this makes sense and I haven't confused you further. So Prajwal agrees, right? Strong weak argument questions, definitely. Also in the last lab to MAH CET, there is one session that is completely for verbal logic. So you need not worry about it. Okay? If Shresht, it means if one does not happen, then the other will definitely happen. Okay, Shresht, if one does not happen, then the other will definitely happen. Okay, that is how we put it. Okay, all right, let's go to our next question. A is the answer here. Now, coming to course of action. So in course of action, a statement is given to you and you are asked that which of the following actions are logical in nature. Okay, which of the following actions are required and are logical in nature? That is what you have to tell me. So this is the problem here. Usually a problem or a situation or an issue is given to you. Now tell me which of the courses of action you will take and which is logically justified. For RC passages, again, Yogita, in the last lap to MHCT, there is a whole session. Again, you need not worry about it. Also, one session on MHCT RCs has already happened. It was taken by Vikrant sir. So just check in the YouTube playlist, you'll find it. Okay, B is what I've got. Only two follows. All right. Okay. All right, all right. So, absolutely correct. Two is the only one that is logical, right? It's the only one that logically follows. Because this is not practical. Non-airport bound vehicles should not be allowed to ply on the road connecting the city and the airport. A very impractical course of action, isn't it? Then 3 says that we should schedule the departure and arrival of flights in such a manner that that congestion on roads does not happen. Can we do that? Again, it's not very practical that I schedule the departure and arrival of my flights in this manner so that road traffic problems get solved. To solve road traffic problems, the solution should come from roads, not from flights, right? So B, Bangalore is the only one that is justified. Okay. For CMAT, I gave a grammar website, Jasuman. Uh, Website for grammar, I don't remember. There is one that I usually follow. It's and I follow it when I want to see something, let's say, specific. I don't usually go to it because Renan Martin suffices. So this is grammar.ccc. CCC stands for Capital Community College. Okay. And you can also type guide to grammar.org, then also you'll get it. Guide to grammar.org. Okay. Now let's come to B is logical, but it's a temporary course of action. So we are doing it during peak hours only, no? Right? We are doing it during peak hours only. So yes, it is because the solution that is required is temporary only, no? Because the problem exists temporarily. It's not a permanent problem. It happens during the peak hours. So the solution has also been suggested keeping that in mind. Right? No. See, the city that the road that connects the city and the airport, it could be connecting several different other points also. Let's say there's a hospital in between, right? And there are ambulances flying there. Can you divert them? Can you tell them that okay, no, you're not allowed? So no, it's not practical, right? Because this road may not just be connecting the city and the airport. Only two follows. Okay. So these were some verbal reasoning questions, right? Now let's have a look at some grammar questions. And I covered pronouns with you in the previous, I think, the session that happened before this. So tell me, nahin, the session last we had a CMAT session. In the one before this we had pronouns. So I explained this concept to you there. Let me see how many of you remember. Yes. Okay. All right, absolutely correct. I've got B's mostly. Just I think one or two A's I've got. Remember, I told you when the information is non-essential. Okay. In fact, in grammar, we call it non-restrictive. If you want the exact grammar term, it is non-restrictive. So if you see, this comes in between these commas. These commas are called parenthetical commas. They serve like brackets. Parenthetical commas do the job of brackets. Right? So that means they contain additional information. Brackets contain additional information. So this information is non-essential. My main idea is to tell you that, okay, this particular book is considered a classic. The date when it was published, this is additional information that I'm giving to you. Right? So that cannot come, because that always comes when the information that I'm giving you is essential. This is not essential. This is additional. Hence B. Others don't make sense at all. Yes? Easy question. A grammar quiz site. Grammar. There's this website. I think I vaguely remember its name. It's called Chomp Chomp. Okay. It has some quizzes. Then there is BBC's website also. British Council's website, BBC's website. They also have some grammar quizzes. Okay. So you can refer to those. Whom is used for a person, correct. Which is for, acha, when, which is for anything, and when comes, we have to select which instead of that. No, I didn't get you. Let me clarify this. Whose indicates possession. So anyway, it could not come here. When was published does not make sense. The book, when it was published, okay, and then you want to say something regarding what happened when it was published, then it would make sense, not here. Whom is something that you use for people, correct? Okay, so I cannot use it here for a non-living entity, right? So hope this makes sense. Anyway, let us come to an error spotting question and see in the chat box from the 19th March at 3 p.m. Okay. I hope I have reconnected and you can hear me now. Okay, perfect. A is what I've got. C also. Okay. A, D. Okay, okay. All right. It's quite a few A's. You say start should be there instead of started. But in that case, bacha, if you're saying that A has an error, then will should be there instead of would. If we start right now, we will be in time. That makes sense. If we start right now, we will be in time. Isn't it? So, this is correct. Just like the given sentence is correct. No error. E is the answer here. Okay? E is the answer. Anyone who thought of E? Yes. So, if we started, no, this is a hypothetical scenario, a hypothetical conditional. So, this person is saying, अगर हम अभी ही चल पड़ते, okay, तो हम time से पहुंच जाते. If we started right now, अगर हम अभी चल पड़ते ना, तो हम time से पहुंच जाते. So, that is the meaning of this sentence. It's a hypothetical conditional. If we started right now, we would be in time. But this is something that is untrue in present. Untrue in present. We haven't started right now. Okay. So E. Yes, it's a hypothetical conditional. Prakriti, is it clear now? अगर हम अभी निकल जाते तो हम टाइम से पहुंच जाते. ओके, पर हम अभी नहीं निकल रहे हैं. दैट्स द आइडिया. We are not leaving right now. So, no error here. It's an absolutely correct sentence. Any other confusion? Acha, we would be on time. One of you said this. Yes, this is what I was expecting. Uh, that some of you will think that it should be on time and not in time. On time, in time, both are correct. Both have different meanings. When you reach somewhere on time, you reach there at the correct time. At the correct time. Okay. So that is what we usually use. In time means that you reach before you are late, before you are too late. Okay, before let's say a deadline. So just in time, he reached just in time. You must have heard this phrase. That means bus train छूटने ही वाली थी, but he reached just in time. So he was able to catch the train, right? So before a deadline, before it was too late. So that is what it means to reach in time. Correct, correct. Okay, where do we use would? It has multiple usages, Meenu. Would is a modal verb. Okay, so first and foremost, it is the past tense of will, right? However, it's not just confined to that. Would can be used in the would can be used to indicate a future situation also. Okay, so if you have you read this poem, Green Eggs and Ham? Green Eggs and Ham. So there a person is asking, there a child is asking another person, would you buy this? Would you buy the green eggs with, let's say, some other treat that he is offering? So would you buy? So now this is a future scenario. क्या आप तब खरीद लोगे? But because it's uncertain in the future, that's why I'm using would. So my suggestion to you is that just Google would का meaning. Okay, uncertain and to show future. So when you look at the first entry that comes up, that's an Oxford Dictionary entry, and that will give you all the usages of would as the past tense of will, as the future that shows uncertainty. In the present tense also we use would. In order to indicate a hypothetical condition, the outcome of a hypothetical condition also we use would. So would, and in fact all the modal verbs, they are pretty versatile that way, right? Okay. Now, let's see this question. It's a sentence correction question. And my suggestion to you is whenever you feel, oh, the sentence is too long, don't get caught up in details, right? Rather, look at the skeleton of this sentence. Okay, so here, for instance, although, so there's a contrast. She was considered among her contemporaries. So I'm talking about some person. Who is this person? Let's see the name, right? Then I'm comparing this person to her husband. Okay, then her success is also mentioned. His success is mentioned here. So just keep in mind these broad things and see what are the differences and accordingly eliminate and answer. Okay, let's see what you say. Sentence correction. All right. So I've got D. Then I've got a lot of C's. I've got E. Okay. C for CET. All right. Okay. But a lot of C's here. I can see. Others? What do you say? Okay. Let's have a look whether you are correct or not. Absolutely correct. So I'm really happy This was not an easy question, let me tell you that. Okay, just a second. I need to switch to my pen, but somehow I'm not able to do that. All right, let me explain it just like this. So, what is being compared with what? That was necessary to understand in this sentence. Okay, so here we are comparing this person Cassia, her success, to the success of her husband. We can't compare a person with the success of another person. You get it? One person can be compared with another person, and the success of one person can be compared with the success of another person. Okay, we can't say that Cassia was overshadowed by her husband's success. Cassia's success was overshadowed by her husband's success. That would be the correct thing to say. Okay, so that is why here, if you look at A, it's a clear repetition. Okay, it's a clear repetition of the original sentence and retains the error. Therefore, it cannot be the answer. Okay, then later overshadowed by the success of her husband. So, what was overshadowed by the success of her husband? Cassia's poetry or Cassia's success? Her success was overshadowed, isn't it? B cannot be the answer. Right. Then Cassia's poetry was considered among her contemporaries as better than her husband. Her poetry was better than her husband. So people used to tell her, "अरे तेरे husband से अच्छी तो तेरी poetry ही है." Is it? So no. This again is an absolutely frivolous comparison here. Okay, a spurious comparison. That's what I should say. Between C and E. Now, although see here, there's only one difference. If you look at A and E, there's only one difference: to be a better poet than her husband. Okay, otherwise it contains the same error that was present in A. So no, it also cannot be the answer. So the answer is C here. Clear to everyone? Why not E? Because E also has this error. Cassia cannot be overshadowed by her husband's success. Cassia's success can be overshadowed by her husband's success. Okay. So C is the answer. Now the last question for the day. I want enthusiastic responses. A preposition based fill in the blank. Let's see what you say. Yes. How C? Okay, just a second. Let's just go back. So C has all the elements in its correct place, and the comparisons are also right. Although Cassia's success was later overshadowed by that means the success, by that of her husband, so by the success of her husband. So correct comparison. Among her contemporaries, she was considered the better poet. So fine, later on it was overshadowed, but among her contemporaries, among her peers, people of her time, she was considered the better poet, the better of the two, right? So no error here. All right. Now fill in the blanks. Last question. I want enthusiastic response. Okay, Shresh says C again. All right. Let's see what the others say. There should be 100 responses. 101 students are watching currently. And I want 100 likes also. C, A, B. All right. A lot of C's. A. Okay. So, go at the end of the street. So, off is fine. Okay. Turn right to the next roundabout. Okay. And then take the second turning to your left. So, first of all, when I indicate this direction, go, I should say to the end, go towards the end. That's what I want to say. No, I'm indicating a direction. So, go to the end of this street. So, right at this juncture, this becomes incorrect. Okay. Then when I say roundabout, roundabout is this gol chakkar, जिसको हम बोलते हैं, right? So this is a roundabout. So roundabout has been used as a location here. So turn right at the roundabout. Okay. So that's why we are not going in the direction of the roundabout. We are saying turn right at the roundabout. Roundabout से आपको right लेना है. ठीक है? That is the idea. So C is the answer. Anyway, you could reject A right at the first juncture when it says go at the end. You are indicating a direction, so go to the end, towards the end. Hence C. Okay, perfect. So C is the answer, right? And I hope this is clear to you. Because of the first blank, we rejected A. Download the app and attempt the quiz. All right. So do stay connected, guys. Yes, I hope you've subscribed to the channel. I hope you've liked the session. You can download the app for the quiz. And yes, we are everywhere on social media. So do stay connected. I'll see you next time then. Bye bye for today. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.